Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in our Fortnite video. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys one of my #1 best tips when it comes to winning in Fortnite and just playing a lot better. And on top of that, I also want to talk about in this video my opinion on the nerf drum gun and as well the new SMG that they added pretty recently. So I want to talk about those two items as well because I think that's really important to talk about. And before we get into the video, if you guys could drop a like in this video, it really does help me out. So make sure you guys do drop a like in this video and as well subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And so starting out, in the recent updates, they did nerf the drum gun. They nerfed the damage from, I believe it was 27 for a body shot. I think they nerfed it down all the way to a 22 or 23 damage shot. And on top of that, they did add a new weapon. They added a new SMG. So I've been trying out the new weapons and kind of getting a feel for it and seeing exactly how they play out. And this is exactly what I think about the two weapons. So starting off with the drum gun nerf, they did nerf the damage down like 4 or 5 points. So it is a significantly weaker. It's going to take an extra shot or two to get off the kill. And even though it does take a little bit more damage to actually get the job done when it comes to getting kills and doing a lot of damage, it's still a very strong and very good weapon. I do feel like it's a lot more balanced now than it was. I feel like it was completely overpowered, but at the same time I did like how it was kind of overpowered because I was using it every single game. I wasn't even picking up a shotgun. I think it might be time to pick up a shotgun and try it out. And for those of you guys who've been watching my videos during this season, you guys know I barely, or pretty much almost never even picked up a shotgun. I was just rocking a straight drum gun, double drum gun, and an AR, and I was just going off. I ended up dropping a 20 kill game in one of my videos, and as well for this gameplay here, I end up dropping 20 kills as well. So I popped off in this gameplay pretty well. I ended up dropping 20 kills, which is my second 20 kill game here in season 9. But with that being said, when it comes to the drum gun, they did nerf the damage a little bit. Headshot, of course, goes down, which is significant because over a 50 damage shot for a headshot is a lot more damage than 48. 48 does a ton of damage. What I think is the headshot does now either is like 47 or 48, but definitely having under 50 damage a shot is a significant difference because it's going to take a little bit more shots to actually get that finish. And I do believe they made an update which made the shotguns a little more consistent with damage because it was super inconsistent when it first came out. I was hitting for 73 damages, then I'll hit for 20 with the exact same amount of pellets hitting, so super inconsistent. So I think now it might be safe to say that I might go back and start using the shotguns a little bit more. I'm still of course going to be using the drum gun the majority of time, and as you guys can see in this gameplay and as well for the in the rest of this game, I was just going off with the drum gun, and most of my kills were with the drum gun. I did get a few kills with my shotgun, as you guys are going to see, but the drum gun is still very powerful and a gun that I would highly recommend using in your inventory. And so as far as it comes to the new SMG, honestly it's really not that good. It's one of those weapons, it's good for, I would say the best case to use it is going to be in that mid-range situation because it's kind of an SMG, but at the same time there is first shot accuracy. So I don't really know exactly what to think about it, but it's really not that strong. It's not strong enough to at close range. You might as well just use an SMG or a drum gun close range, and as well if you come from longer ranges, you might as well just use an assault rifle because it does a lot more damage from those ranges, and as well it's a lot more accurate. So it's kind of a mix, and it's just kind of those weapons. It's not like too good at one specific thing. It can be good at close range, can be good at far range, but it's not like it really excels in one kind of area. So that's why I particularly don't like to use that weapon too much, but it still is a good weapon to use. But if it comes down to it, I'd rather have a drum gun and an AR than running that weapon. So that's just my personal preference when it comes to that weapon. Of course, some of you guys might really like the weapon because it is a very good weapon, but it really shines in the mid range. That's where you're gonna have the most effect with it. But I feel like in those ranges, I might as well just use my my AR or even shotgun. Shotguns do a lot of damage. It has a lot of range on it, and really with all that said, I might as well just use an AR and a shotgun rather than using, or even an AR and SMG rather than using that new SMG that came out. So that's just my opinion. Of course you guys might think different. Definitely let me know in the comments down below if you guys rather be using the new SMG. If you guys like it a ton, definitely let me know. And as far as the tip I want to give in this video, and something that I've seen a ton when I've been playing with myself, also when I play with some of my friends and watching them play, one thing that I noticed, and one big mistake that I feel like is a problem now, it really wasn't that bad back then because the shotguns were doing a lot more damage, back then as in like a week ago. But anyways, one thing that I noticed has been costing a lot of gunfights, and something that I really noticed and why I started using the drum gun a lot more, SMGs in those close range situations, is I'd see a lot of people go for the shotgun shots really close range, or they play really aggressive with a shotgun. So they go for a lot of edit plays and a lot of W keys with the shotgun. And trust me, this is not the way to go. It's not going to be as effective as it once was, because even if you hit for go for a really nice edit play, and maybe you want to go for a shotgun shot or switch back to your SMG after the shot, which it can be done, but it's not really the most effective way to play, just for the reason being the shotgun is only going to be hitting for a 40 damage body shot. Of course, if you have a headshot, it's going to be an exception, and that really goes with any weapon. Any weapon in this game can do a lot of damage with headshots, but typically if you're going for a W key play, which is a lot of times this is something that you want to do against a player who's going to be weak, and as well against someone you're fighting and you obviously know they're just going to be running away and playing scared the second you get a shot on them. An example of this is anybody that you ever see in arena mode. Those are the exact players that I'm talking about. Super annoying to play against. And a lot of times in arena mode, I'm really just talking about pubs when I talk about the stuff in this video. But in arena mode, even though everything that I said with the shotgun, I'm basically only going to be using a drum gun because it's just so much more effective. I need to go for a lot of W key plays, because if you get any shots on anyone at all in arena mode, you guys already know, for those of you guys who have higher points, that anything you do, they're immediately boxed up, they're not challenging anything, and they're just playing really slow and just really passive. It's super annoying to play against, and it's just how it is and just how players play. And I know I just talked about not using the shotgun as much, but at the beginning of this video, I also did say that I would recommend using the shotgun again. And so there's going to be a few situations in which I'd highly recommend using a shotgun other than an SMG, and those are going to be not point blank ranges. Point blank every single time, like right here, you want to use a drum gun or SMG every single time. You don't want to use your shotgun for the majority of times because it can be really inconsistent. There can be times where you're winning gunfights, you're hitting for 70 damage and you hit for a headshot, but usually it's not going to be your best option. You're going to be losing gunfights against people who have really good aim with their SMG, so I wouldn't recommend point blank ranges if they're right in your face using a shotgun. I'd recommend using an SMG or AR, really any other gun but a shotgun. But when it comes to not point blank but still close range, so maybe I would say like 5 or 10 meters out, I would say those are the best ranges to use a shotgun, or around peak shots as well, around corners. Those are going to be the best situations and the best way to use a shotgun for a few reasons. And one of the main reasons is if you're peeking around a corner, especially in the early game, it's going to allow you to line up an easy headshot, which is going to allow you to get a lot of one shots, because a lot of people aren't going to be having max HP in the beginning. Most people are going to be having 100 HP at most. Some people do have shield from time to time, but even if they do have shield and you're able to hit a headshot, you're still going to be hitting for over 130 damage every single time. And because the shotgun does have a little bit more range, you're going to be able to shoot a little bit further and still hit for max damage. That's something you can really use to your advantage. So when it doesn't come to the point blank ranges, like I said, comes to a little bit further than that, still close range, that's where it's going to be the shotgun is the most effective at. And this can be very effective in the early game because you can peek around corners and do different things like that. So different situations like that, I'd highly recommend using the shotgun. I think it's going to be a lot better than the drum gun, because the drum gun is going to have a little bit of spread on it, and it might, mess up your shot a little bit. You're going to be missing a little bit more shots, and it's not hitting for as much damage as it used to. So I'd probably recommend using the shotgun right away, and then maybe switch to an AR and SMG, and then finish them off from there like how it used to be. And also the last thing I want to talk about, it kind of touches on my point from earlier when I still recommend using the drum gun a lot instead of always using a shotgun. And the reason being, even though they did nerf the drum gun a little bit, even though they added a new SMG, and I think they made the damage a lot more consistent on the shotguns, even with all that added to the game, I still think the meta and the strongest way to play is also going to be just playing really aggressive with an SMG or really aggressive with a drum gun. I think that's still going to be the current best way to play in this game. That's what I would recommend playing if you want to get really good. And that's just really the best way that I see it now, unless they add a heavy shotgun back into the game, which they might do. There's been a lot of rumors about it. Unless they add a heavy shotgun back into the game, I don't think shotguns are going to play a really significant role in this game. And really, what I've seen, I've been able to play really well without a shotgun. It's not like one of those things anymore, because if you didn't have a shotgun in the early game, if you didn't have a shotgun in the mid game, you were almost screwed every single time. But nowadays, I think if I didn't even have a shotgun, I wouldn't even be sweating at all, because as long as I had an SMG or drum gun, I would feel pretty confident winning that fight, just because I know the other guy's not going to be hitting for that much damage with his shotgun. So I feel really confident going into the fight and feel like I can win. And as you guys just saw right there, I absolutely just shredded the guy with the drum gun. Even if he had a shotgun, he would have only probably hit me for like 50 damage, so I still would have traded way more damage using a drum gun than I would using any other weapon. So even with all the changes, unless they add a better shotgun like the heavy shotgun, I'm probably not going to be focusing too much on using shotguns in a lot of my fights. I'm just going to be focused on SMG and drum gun. I think that's the best way to play and the best way to go. I think that's going to win the most amount of fights and allow you to win the most amount of games here in Season 9. And with that being said, that's wrap up for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys liked it. And if you guys could, make sure you guys drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notifications so you're notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I'll see you next video.